Hello everyone and welcome to the car profile, otherwise known as the BoP test, and we're here with the Dodge Viper SRT GT3-R, the Group 3 car for Dodge. And what I found when trying this car is it's like your stereotypical American car. If you think of America and you think of the car, you think of Viper, and you think of the way this drives as well. So there's quite a bit of understeer, there's a hell of a lot of power, which has been nerfed massively because the BoP value is 83% on the power. That's how much has been nerfed. So let's look at the 5 tracks that we do these tests on. So first we're at Brands, and get my words out. And Paddock Hill Bend, no real issues there. I had a few little issues into Druids here. The car sometimes lost the rear slightly, but that's because we're top end of second, going into third gear. And as you see, I'm actually behind my Ghost at the moment. I got a very good first sector with my Ghost on lap 13, but obviously this is the fastest lap. So we're going to go quicker eventually, and that's because of the middle section. We also do this corner very well. We actually ran wide on the Ghost lap, ran wide a little bit there, but as you see, it's just pulling away against that gap. Of course, we do push the boundaries here. We're looking for the best optimum time, not necessarily the fastest lap. Basically, as I've always said in these, 1 in 10 fastest lap or 1 in 10 for each sector. You're going to go for the sector because, you know, you've got like a huge amount more chance of getting the optimum time right. Obviously, you can always go faster. Now, at Brands Hatch, I've already mentioned about the understeer. You may have seen the understeer already. There's lots of it. It's got lots of power and lots of understeer. And we're down to a 122.5, so we just knocked off a tenth there with our middle sector there because it was very, very good. Now, coming into clearways here. And look at that, through we go, no problem at all. 4th gear, as with this car, it's like the Corvette in the higher gears can help it. It's quite unusual that they're both like that, and we get a 122.548 optimum there, and look at that, they're all at the end, so we know we've progressed nicely to a good optimum there. So we go to Dragon Trail. Brands Hatch, we test undulations and just the balance of the car. Of course, it's a high downforce track, which is why it struggled a little bit there with turning. Dragon Trail, we expect it to do very well here because obviously it's a power track. It has been nerfed, of course, this car. It's down to 83% power. Curbs, we're going to test here at Dragon Trail, and obviously the stability at the end of Sector 2 on the right-hander. Curbs, it has no problem with curbs at all. Struggles with this corner here. You notice I have to come off the power a little bit, and I struggle in the braking zone because of that, because the weight changes slightly, so do be careful of that if you're using a Viper here. When you lift off, obviously the weight transition happens in the car, then go into the braking zone, that weight transfer is still moving, you have issues. Here you'll notice I stay in 5th gear, understeer, big problem here. You'll notice I will lift off and go back on throttle constantly. Again, it's just understeer, trying to balance that understeer act with the amount of power it's got. Now, one thing I did find during this test throughout these tracks is that you can use the power to your advantage. So here I'm going to stay in 3rd gear again, similar to the Corvette. I can get more stability out of it, but it's a little less stable on exit, so it can start to oversteer a little bit. But you can use the power of the Viper to get round corners. So yes, it has understeer. I struggle massively at the chicane, by the way. Huge, I crashed loads of times there. You might see lap 9 and 10 there, 49 and 46. But as I was saying, getting back to the point, you can use the power to get around the corner a little bit better, so it sort of starts to oversteer a little bit, but it doesn't oversteer massively, and that will help you get around the corner. And it's sort of GT6-esque driving style, where you would use the throttle, slide the car a little bit. You do that with this car to get around corners, and it can actually go fairly well. So we get a 136.9 there. Obviously that's not mega speed, but it's in with the average there. That's a very good average that car's got there. As we come to Interlagos, this is a big surprise. So obviously at Interlagos, we're testing curbs again. Obviously the tracks cover each other very nicely, and we test undulations here as well. This first corner, the Senna S, oh my word, it struggled massively initially. I was getting 23.5s and 23.4s first sectors, but as you see on my last one, I got a 23.0. We get a 23.0 again. So we managed to pull that back. We had to change our driving style a little bit, got used to the understeer, managed the understeer, and we could progress nicely. Now that dark green stuff, I've mentioned this in the past, some cars can handle it, some cars can't. This car can handle the dark green AstroTurf, so if you do go out there, don't worry too much. Struggles with a bit of oversteer in this corner, and understeer, as you can see, we're very wide. We have to brake earlier than normal to try and get the car turned in for this section. Now, undulations, weight transfer, does it have an issue? It doesn't. It can accelerate out here very quickly. As you see, no real issues there. And then come into this braking zone, just struggles with the braking a little bit. Now, obviously to stop the understeer issue, we try and get a very wide line in. We of course drop off the throttle as much as we can. Look how long we're off full throttle there. Absolutely massive, so it really loses out in that sector. 44.7 still fairly okay. Obviously it needs to be a bit lower, and then obviously it's going to absolutely nail it up the hill. You can really absolutely put the power down, and this way it benefits a little bit at Interlagos because of that power. And it's been nerfed, as I say, 83% on the BoP. So the fact that it's doing these times anyway is incredible, really. So we get a 130.725, but we look at optimum, of course, which is a 0.700. So we're fairly close. You can see that with the laps. So you can see lap 9 and 10 are like sort of, sorry, not 9 and 10. 9 is very good. Go to Nurburgring. This is a balanced circuit. Of course, Suzuka after this is also a balanced circuit. First sector is handling. Weirdly, this car is very good in this first sector. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's the end of the first sector it's very good at. So coming to here, you can see we're behind the Ghost again. Getting that first corner right is very tricky. You saw I stayed in second gear. This corner it handles very nicely. It somehow gets the turn in. The minute it gets on there, you get a good run for this right-hander, and you can absolutely like full throttle this, and there's no huge stability issues unlike a lot of other cars, which I guess is where the time is. I get 35.6. You don't see that very often. Even the Porsche, that is a good time to get a 35.6. So a very good first sector. Coming out of here, third gear, we're up on our time as well. Obviously in a previous lap we made a mistake there because we gained a 10th instantly, just like that, as we come to the hairpin. Now, similar to the Corvette, we're going to stay in a higher gear here, mainly because of stability out the corner. You'll see we go straight into this meter, where the tachometer, where it goes red, and then we come into the Schumacher S. Here, struggled with understeer. As you can see there, we still struggled, even though we lifted off as well. Stereotypical American car, isn't it, really? Understeer and lots of power. But I do like the Viper, you know, it's a very good American classic. So when I say stereotypical American car, don't take that in a bad light. It's just, you know, think of Top Gear, the old Top Gear. They always go on about this, you know, can't go around corners. The whole fun of it. It's got that sort of personality to it, and it's kind of nice because all the cars got unique personalities. This suits its personality very, very nicely. Coming to the chicane, you can see no issues with bumps or hitting curbs there. It can take it fine. Obviously it's got a massive front end, engine in the front end, front engine rear wheel drive car. It's absolutely got no problem. Coming out of the last corner, we're going to get, I don't think we improve on our optimum, which is a 55.001. Just missed out on that 54 there. But again, it's up there with the average around the 54.9s, 55.1s. You know, it's in between that. As we go to Suzuka for our final test. And absolutely no problem in this first corner. Obviously, some cars struggle here. The rear steps out a little bit, but nothing major. As we come around the first corner. Now, I actually do that corner slightly wrong. You can take it a bit tighter and it should be fine. But we're going to do the rest of the lap very nicely, of course, because this is the fastest lap. So that all this S is, while it struggles with understeer, it's very, very stable. Some cars are not stable in there. I've recently raced the RCZ here, Group 3 car. It wasn't as stable as this Viper. The Viper's very stable. And coming out of here, just got to be careful of running wide from the understeer. So what I tended to do was change gear mid-corner. It allowed the car to just get that a little bit more turning. Coming into here, third gear, don't drop to second, stay in third. Through you go, you can accelerate out very quickly. And we're about where most cars are for Tidgney 1 and 2 in that sector 2 section. Hairpin, struggled here. I struggled a little bit because of the wheel as well, a tiny bit. You can see how much I'm turning there. But power on exit really struggles, even in second gear. Wheel spin massively. So obviously with tyre wear, you've got to think about that potentially in these races. Just be careful there. As we continue to spoon, drop to third gear, no real issues again with sort of oversteer. It's a very stable car. It reminds me a lot of the Lexus actually, and you'll see that when we get to the spreadsheet shortly. As we accelerate out here, we're going to have our speed trap here. Now, I don't think the speed trap I've written down is on this lap, but I saw 157 a few times, so I've written 157. Do we get 157? No, we just get 156 there. But there is a 157 in there, and I've made that absolutely no problem as well. So do keep that in mind. It's a very fast car. There's only the GTR which has got 157 there as well. So both these cars very quick. So round, I actually went off there once. So as I say, understeer big killer in this car. 159.047 is the optimum we get. I see lap 10, I absolutely blew it. But let's look at the spreadsheet. So it comes in all the way down in 8th position, behind the Ferrari and ahead of the Audi. So we're in the 824 sort of area, 823s. Now I think this is like sort of where the average should be. And you can see the weight is 103. The power, as I've mentioned a few times, 83, so it's been massively nerfed. Going along, if we look at risk indicator, I've put it as 2. As I say, I had no real issues. The only issue you have is understeer and understanding the understeer. In terms of oversteer and actually using this car, I don't find it that risky, although I do believe the tyre wear might be an issue from a race I recently did, where somebody mentioned tyre wear. I don't know that. Obviously we're not testing that, so I'm not going to put that in this. So you can see that on the comments. So very understeery car. Try and use the power to compensate for this mid-corner by accelerating, and it's sort of GTS driving style. So if you've still got the old GT6 in you, this is going to be quite good for you. Undulations have no impact on the car, and change gear just before the limiter. I don't know if you noticed that. Don't go all the way to the limiter where it starts flashing. Just change just before, and you'll be fine. There's no just before and then a bit further down. There's no real speed loss there. That's sort of where the peak horsepower and torque transition works wonderfully. But I hope you enjoyed that video. Thanks very much for watching. My playlist is there if you want to watch another one. My logo's there if you want to subscribe. And the full spreadsheet, which is going to be available to you to view, will be available soon. But that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.